my thing was at literally 0. Yeah. That sounded like some church music. We were just going to the Lord.
The Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Hi.
Hey.
We're coming to you live with some heavy earth energy that is floating around.
I'm getting sick, you guys, and that's really pissing me the frick off.
Oh.
That's why I have my green juice. If you're watching this on the video, you can see. I'm just going to keep my little green juice next to me, okay?
Okay.
My little ginger juice.
Gin and juice. Laid back.
We hope you guys are having a wonderful week. We are fresh off a trip.
We are.
We went to New York, which was fun. I feel like we'll do a little recap at some point of our trip.
Yeah.
I just want to warn you all, okay? I'm looking pretty busted today, and I didn't do anything about it. You're all going to just have to take what you can get here today.
I wanted to start by acknowledging that there is a lot of really hard stuff going on in the world. There are a lot of innocent people being absolutely massacred right now in Gaza. And I just wanted to acknowledge that because humans are important, and respect for human life and acknowledging the trauma that people are going through and not just sweeping it aside as though it doesn't matter is very important to me, and I think important to us both. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. I'm praying for everyone and looking for ways that I can support human beings in any way, shape, or form, which is extremely challenging and confusing in this world with social media and honestly just being worlds away from people and allowing that to buying into the illusion that there's no way that you can make a positive impact on a situation that's this massively awful and challenging and hard.
Yeah. But really like how I started the episode saying I look busted, and Carly started the episode acknowledging the humanitarian crisis. So that just goes to show you.
No, it's just I don't want to even start with the episode without saying that, because
I know
to me even just even sitting down to record is such a luxury, and
we kind of, to be honest, we kind of contemplated whether we were even going to put anything out today or this week, but at the end of the day, you know, it's good to keep showing up, and the basis of this podcast is sharing our thoughts and feelings and truth, and sometimes that's frivolous, fun shit, and other times it's harder, you know, more sobering topics. And so today I feel like we're just going to do a what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Session.
And I read this thing this week and shared it on social media about how pulling on your own thread eventually unravels the cloth of unfairness in the world. And we've talked about this, maybe not as pointedly in various episodes, but if you have some sort of dilemma or pain or oppressive circumstance in your life that has been put in your path by the universe or put in your life path, something that you've had to deal with for a long time that has opened your eyes to inequity and just unfairness and something that needs to change in this world, it can feel so overwhelming that there's so much going on all the time and what to do for everyone. And just continue to pull on your thread, because it's just the concept that everything is interlinked and linked together energetically, but also systems span far and wide. And if we're all pulling on our individual threads of unfairness, it matters. So keep that up. Keep doing that for yourself and for everyone else.
Yeah.
Come lay down.
This girl, she literally has like a fixed position in this podcast. That is so fucking cute.
I just love you so much. I just love you so much, Chunk Chunks.
Cubby, you're really bright in this world.
You are. Animals are such a source of love. Should we just talk about adopt, don't shop? Should we just talk about animals?
Such a good idea.
I think everyone on planet Earth is in their process of figuring out if they should just abandon their lives and live on a farm with a bunch of animals with their feet touching grass, earthing all the time.
Yeah.
I think we might all be having that dream.
Yeah.
I will be doing that. You will see it come to fruition for me.
For sure. But yeah, like we mentioned earlier, we got back from New York. We took a very fun trip together. It was a different type of trip, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know.
Well, normally we're really expressive when we go on vacation because we love travel, and not even just travel, but I think we just love to celebrate life, and traveling makes us feel very present and just very overwhelmingly grateful and excited to be alive and excited to explore. And we never really got to travel as kids. It was just so expensive. We have so many siblings and definitely didn't have a lot of spare change to finance fun family trips or just trips at all. So in our young adulthood, as we've gotten jobs and been able to kind of take care of ourselves a little more, we've really invested in travel.
We have.
And we love it. We always travel together.
But you know what? Every trip is different, and it has a different energy. And it was funny. We were on the plane ride back, kind of just going over how everything went and like the peak and the pit and whatever, and reminiscing on certain trips that we had such high hopes for and that they didn't quite meet that. And we had a beautiful time. Like that's all to say. We're so grateful that we're in New York and, you know, have the money to take ourselves here, there, and have the legs to walk ourselves around. And I feel like that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today, is just such a strange juxtaposition to be a human sometimes.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky enough to have lived a rich life in terms of rich in life experience and have seen a lot of things and been able to touch a lot of different types of people, it never is not strange to...
Sorry, been able to come in contact with a bunch.
What did I say?
You just said touch, and I just feel like people are weird.
Okay. Sorry, I don't want to touch you.
You
Matter of fact, if you knew me, you would know that. I'm really not trying to touch you at all, actually. I have like major barrier issues. Very few people I want to touch me, but... Yeah, that's a different conversation. Though. We can talk about that if you guys want to talk about that.
What, intimacy issues?
But like, don't touch me. Unless you're like a couple people. There's going to be someone that comes along that I'm like, see, here's the thing. I know that I do like it.
Oh,
you just
choking her with my leg.
God damn. You like armbarred your dog.
I'm sorry, Bug.
But what I meant to say was, if you're fortunate enough to have lived a rich life where you come in contact with lots of different types of people and have been fortunate to travel or just experience life in a multitude of ways, the idea of sonder came up. Don't laugh.
You're just still stuck on the last thing.
The idea of sonder came up this weekend, and the definition of sonder, this isn't the dictionary definition, but... Sonder is basically like in awe that everyone else is living their own life and their own experience and walking their own path. And so you walk around with a feeling of sonder, and it's the understanding that every single person, whether it's you're in New York and you're walking down the street, we all have a birth date, a journey to get to the point that we're at right now. We have a wide mental landscape, which actually someone told me a couple days ago, 40% of people don't have revolving thoughts going on.
I've been posting about this so much. Have you not been paying attention?
You do.
I have been shook by this.
You do.
I have been absolutely shook by this.
Okay, well, I'm basically schizophrenic. I have so many like voices in my head. So I'm not actually. I'm sorry if you're actually schizophrenic. That was just a joke, but okay, maybe I'll say that again. We're not laughing at anyone that's schizophrenic. We're just laughing at me sticking my foot in my mouth like 15 different times in the last 5 minutes. But I have so many voices that are going on so many times at one time. And so I don't understand anybody that doesn't have...
I'm having full arguments in my mind with
talk to
myself
in the car.
I have so many me's in here.
Same.
I have full conversations, and then I'm also talking to invisible people that don't exist, like in theoretical scenarios about if something were to happen. I'm having like full like theatrical plays in my head about how things would happen and how I would respond if something happened, and then not yelling, but berating myself for how I respond and be like, oh, no, you should do it that way.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But yeah, I
can't believe you haven't been listening to me about that.
I have been. I just didn't realize it was 40% of people.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Jake Jessen.
Shout out Jake Jessen.
He's a very quiet mind.
Yeah. Lucky guy. That's our brother-in-law. But anyways, we found ourselves at so many points of the trip. One very specific one that we had a conversation about. We went to dinner and then we went to a sports bar and we watched the end of the Mavs game, the Mavs Timberwolves game. And we were looking around at this super packed bar. And we were in Greenwich Village. And, everyone was living their lives and having a time and this, that, or the other. And Carly looked at me and was like, isn't it so strange that all of these people are out here and they're free and they're like romping around, and the people that we know in prison are in cells right now?
Yeah.
I think you said Koi's name and maybe Christopher's name.
Yeah.
And Koi is a woman that we met at the women's prison, which we'll definitely tell you about the women's prison at some point. And, you meet all these beautiful people and you have to process that they're physically confined the majority of their days.
Yeah.
Every day. Some of them for the rest of their natural lives as it stands now, And it's just such a mind fuck. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, you're on this beautiful trip. And I feel like this is just such a human experience. You're on this beautiful trip and you open your phone and there's everything and more going on across the world.
Yeah.
It's constant, you know? And I'm the blessed one. I'm sitting here on a trip with my sister and exploring and building memories and alive, So it's just this insanely strange juxtaposition to be a human sometimes.
It really is.
Where you're like trying to grasp onto what's real, you know, and feel it all while also not being completely consumed with feeling it all. So I don't know. I'm fascinated by the human experience. I don't know about you guys, but
no, me too. And to get kind of heavy, I think one of the greatest tools of oppression is tricking people into believing that they are helpless and hopeless and that there's nothing that they can do to impact a situation for the better. That's a very powerful tool of oppression, is for all of us to believe that we can't make an impact. And so not to do or say anything in the face of wrongdoing or in the face of people being harmed however and wherever we're seeing it. Yeah. And also, like what you're saying is, we can't individually save the whole world. And we can't take the pressure and the weight and the responsibility of that entirely on our own shoulders, because it's way too heavy of a burden to bear. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy experience to be a human. I want to read this.
I already know I'm going to hate this angle when I look at this camera, but I don't give a fuck. I'm tired today. My neck, everything hurts.
I want to read this quote that I remember reading like 3 years ago or something, and it just came in my mind, and it's exactly about this. Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it.
No fuck.
Right? It's just such a good guide for releasing the responsibility to fix everything or save everything, and also holding yourself accountable to stay present with the truth of what's going on in the world, or what's going on in your world, or whatever that's impacting you and impacting people around you, and just stay present, and stay open and stay loving.
Absolutely. Like you said earlier, it's pulling on your own thread is really what you can do. But I think that when I get in these mindsets of it just feels like one big mind fuck kind of like, wow, I'm just out here existing. You know what I mean? I have my own, mind fuck hardships that I'm stuck in and being sucked into and, made to believe that they're so big inside of my mind and my heart and my spirit, and not to degrade my own, emotional landscape and feelings, because I'd be going through some things, you know what I mean? But you step outside of that space and you look around and you're like, whoa, whoa, there's a lot going on here. You know what I mean? And I'm so sheltered and shielded from so much of the day-to-day of what that experience is like, and it's just a wild experience. I don't even know what else to say about it. That's really been the profound, I think, feeling and kind of note that we've both had is that.
Yeah. I think that something that has been going on in my mind a lot is how we as individuals, if we were going through something really hard or we were being harmed, our hope would be that someone or someones would step in and help us.
Yeah.
And recognize what was happening to us.
Yeah.
And talk about it and give their sympathy and their empathy and their resources to help us,
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting how when it's our turn to do that for people, there are so many excuses to turn and look the other way and ignore it or not to offer what you have. And I just feel like when it comes time for us as individuals to lend that helping hand or that sympathy or that love or our resources or our voices, it's important to offer that because we would want people to do that for us. And that's how community works. That's how global community works. We have global community now. We have cell phones. We have social media. We have global news outlets, media outlets. So,
yeah, not to really generalize anything because there's nothing that you can generalize about this specific circumstance, but I think it's so important. We've talked about this so many times on this podcast, and it's something that I deal with in my personal life all the time, but just getting outside of the boxes and the confines that we feel that we put ourselves in and that we put others in, and really starting to critically think in every direction about what's real and what's right and what feels right to us, not to the group that we associate with, not to our friends, not to anybody. What feels right in my core right now about this situation? And it's not my right to tell you what feels right. I have to decide what feels right for me in terms of in any circumstance, but I think it's so critical as we move forward as a human race to just start to break down these super high walls that we've built up for ourselves and around ourselves and
separating each other from each other. Separating us from other people.
And we talk about it in terms of incarceration all the time and just trying to convey how much more similar we all are than different, the two communities that we love and that we're a part of. And I hate to be like a little peace preacher or something like that, but it's the reality of the situation is like we are so much more alike than we are different. And I just wish that government powers weren't at play and greed wasn't at play and evil wasn't at play. And it's a lot bigger than just that, but I don't know. I just feel like on a human.
No, I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah, I just think that on a human level, really, if we just kind of knock that shit down around us, would be like, oh wait, I actually really like you.
Yeah,
we have so much in common, and what we want is actually very similar. Maybe we're just not. The language isn't there to express it, or maybe you're not fully understanding the way that I'm expressing. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I just really feel like that's something that I would love to see more of in my lifetime. And I'd love to cultivate more of it, honestly, in my own community and relationships and things like that. More understanding and stuff.
Yeah. Empathy is a beautiful thing. Being able to look at another person and understand this person wants to be loved. This person is a mother just like my mother, a sister just like my sister, a brother just like my brother, a dad just like my dad. We go through such similar emotional experiences in life with the desire to belong and the desire to love and be loved and desire for community and for upward mobility and success and joy and inner peace. And we're just fucking humans, dude. It's crazy.
We are. But I'm a very grateful human, and I need to even work on my gratitude more because boy, oh boy, was I given so much. and when I came to this earth, so.
But yeah, this is just where life is at. It's a lot of chaos for everybody. And again, a struggle to juggle wanting to help people and also wanting to be able to exist in a space of joy in your body, but not allowing the desire for joy and peace in your body to allow you to turn a blind eye to things that are important in this world, and just finding that constant and consistent balance between keeping yourself healthy and keeping yourself engaged.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's really hard. And, there were lots of things we could have talked about this week that we were contemplating talking about, and it can feel indulgent to just continue on with your life as normal without just acknowledging the truth of our kind of collective human experience, because more and more with time, we're all experiencing so much stuff together as the world becomes more globalized with social media and just larger global conversations about how our entire world operates and how some people win and some people don't, and who wins and why and how. And these are important conversations that are being had, and they're also intense and humans, right? Damn.
Humans, am I right?
Humans, am I right?
Am I right?
Am I right or am I right?
So anyways, we're going to keep this shit short and sweet because there's just a lot going on. And I think we'll just keep it moving.
Out of respect for everybody's time and emotional landscape, we will, I don't know, should we say something to make people laugh? What's funny? Is there anything funny that's happened to us recently?
I had a dude waste my time for a couple days. That was funny. That was hilarious. Waste my fucking time.
Oh, men are pretty funny, am I right?
So funny.
Sorry, guys.
They're hilarious. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
We aren't even men haters. We don't hate men. I feel like one thing on the topic of just relationships in general, not necessarily just men, but something that we've been kind of talking about a little bit, is how much richness and depth you can get out of a relationship with someone who has really excavated who they are.
Yeah.
Versus someone who's still closing doors internally to who they are and protecting themselves from certain life experiences that are too scary up till that point to delve into, and just creating walls around their heart. I mean, everybody knows like emotional availability is not the vibe for intimacy, but...
You mean emotional unavailability?
Oh my God, yeah.
I was about to say...
Everyone knows emotional unavailability is not the vibe for intimacy. It is quite literally the cock block to intimacy.
Facts.
But it just feels rare to meet somebody who has really stripped down their identity to figure out who am I actually and who do I want to be. Just people who have cultivated that richness of self-awareness internally and are willing to come with equal amounts of self-respect and respect for somebody else and their time and their humanity.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
It is so beautiful.
More of us need to be doing that, you guys. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to, is it's wonderful to meet somebody that's met themselves.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the only control I have is to continue to try to meet myself. And hopefully I'll attract people that are doing the same, and I'll have a higher awareness of someone who hasn't met themselves and be able to make decisions, off of that. But
yeah,
it's cool. It's cool to fucking dive deep into thyself.
It's the best.
It's the best.
It's the best. It kind of
is the best.
It is a little bit painful, but
a little.
So worth it.
Honey, I'd be hurting over here.
Me too.
Oh my gosh.
Should we show them our handshake?
Yeah. So down.
We made a handshake on the plane. It was something that we said we were going to do by the end of the New York trip, and then we didn't do it, but we were on the plane still, and we were like, we can still do this.
And technically we were still on the trip because we hadn't gone off the plane yet.
Yep.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
That was a hip bump at the end.
Yeah, we're sitting, so we can't do that. But you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
Oh, that's a vibe. I like that song.
Everything I do it big.
I
have an extreme amount of dog hair on my leg.
You sure do.
Okay, well, I hope that everybody listening to this is taking care of themselves.
Yeah, me too.
I hope that we all prioritize taking time to regulate our chests and our minds and, cultivate resilience internally to be able to keep walking through really emotionally charged times in this world and find that balance between personal health and staying engaged for the sake of society.
Humanity.
Yeah.
Wish me luck that I don't get full-blown sick. Okay, I want everyone to pray for me.
You've been having a cough for a while now.
I don't want to talk about that, though.
You're just acting like you're not sick, but you are.
That's not the sequence of how you get sick, though. I now have a sore throat, so
that's
now I'm actually sick.
That happened to me. I was just
I'm a victim.
I was just coughing randomly out of nowhere, and I just thought it was going to go away, but it developed into other symptoms as well.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
It's not looking too good for me, folks.
No, but I am praying for you because this is an absolutely devastating situation that you're in.
I know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love you. Sheesh.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.